Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today I will show you demo how we can create deployment slot in webapp. I would like to encourage you to please watch my previous video related to web apps. So let's start. Azure function deployment slot allow your function app to run different instances called slot. Slots are different environments exposed via a publicly available endpoints. One app instance is always mapped to the production slot, and you can swap instances assigned to a slot on demand. Suppose that we have deployed our application in webapp on production server and its URL is production.website.com. Now to decrease the downtime on production and want to test the application on production environment before piloting to all the users, then in this case user can create a slot or a space on production server with a different URL. Maybe it will be staging.website.com. This staging environment will not affect the original production environment. Instead, it will be like a new and separate web app which is deployed in production environment, so that user can test their application similar to the production. Once the testing is done, then user only needs to swap the original slot with the staging slot. In this way, there will be no noticeable downtime to the user. Let me provide you the demo so that it will be more clear to you. So let's navigate to Azure portal and try to understand what is the deployment slot. So this is our Azure portal, and as we seen in our last video how we can create an Azure web app, in this video also we will create a web app. For that, let me navigate to app service, create web app. So let me create a new resource group, provide a meaningful name, click on OK, provide a meaningful name for web app, and here we will use .NET 8 LTS. Operating system will be Windows and region will be Australia Central. Let me scroll down below, and here let me select a present tier. For this demo I am selecting standard and I am skipping all other tabs and click on review and create. It will validate our inputs and let me create the web app. Let me come back once the web app is created. Now web app is created. Let me navigate to resource, and here let me copy the URL and paste it in browser. Now we have web app created. Now we have to create a deployment slot. For this we have navigated to Azure portal, and here we have a deployment slot option. Here we have an add slot button. Let me click that. Let me provide a name for a slot. Here I am providing pre-prod and click on add. It will create a separate slot for deployment for us. If you noticed, we have now two slots. One is for production and another we just now created as in pre-prod. Production slot will contain an original web app, whereas the pre-prod slot we will use to test the application. Now we'll create a two application in Visual Studio. One is for production and another one is for pre-prod. So this is our Visual Studio 2022, and here let me create a new project and select a project. Click on next, provide a meaningful name, click on next, keep this window as it is, click on create. Let me navigate to Solution Explorer, navigate to pages, and here we will open the index.cshtml, and here we will just add some text, and now save our changes. Let me build the application. We'll come back once our application is built successfully. Now our application is built successfully. Now we will deploy this application onto our production web app. For this we have to publish the application in Azure. So let me right click on Solution Explorer and click on publish. It will open the publish window. Here we have to select Azure, click on next, and here we have a Windows application, so select a Windows option, click on next. Here we have to select our app service plan and a resource group, and inside our resource group we have a web app which we have created, and this is a deployment slot, but for now we will deploy it in a production slot. So let me select the web app itself, click on finish, and it will create a new publish profile for us. We'll come back once the publish profile is created. Now the publish profile is created. Let me click on publish button. Click on publish. It will deploy our web app in Azure. We'll come back once the deployment is completed. Now the deployment is completed. Let me navigate to Visual Studio. Let me navigate to Solution Explorer, and here again we will open the index page, and this time I will make some minor change here just to add some differences in the view. Let me build the application now. We'll come back once the application is built. Azure is built now. We will deploy this in our Azure portal. For this, let me navigate to Solution Explorer, right click on Solution, select the Publish option. Here we have to select an Azure, click on Next, and again the Windows option, click on Next. Now again we in App Service Plan, but this time we will select in deployment slot what we have created earlier and click on Finish. This will create a new publish profile for us. Publish profile is created. Click on Publish to publish our web app in Azure. Now the application is published in our deployment slot, and in another window we have a previous deployment which we done in production slot. Let me navigate to Azure portal, and here let me navigate to deployment slots. Now we have two deployment slots, one for production and other is for staging. Now we will swap the slots in such a way that staging slot become production and production slot becomes staging. So we have a swap option above. Let me click on swap. It will open another window. We'll keep this setting as it is and we'll click on swap. It will take a couple of minutes to swap these things. Now swapping is completed. Let me navigate to Chrome browser, and here you see we have older version. Let me refresh the page. Now you see we have a new version here which come from the deployment slot. Navigate to another window. Here we have an older version. Let me refresh this one as well, and here you see we have a production version here in deployment slot. In this way, you leverage the facility of deployment slot provided by web apps, which is more effective to manage multiple versions and deploy it to production environment with no downtime. I hope now the concept is clear to you. With this, we end our video here. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Bye.